92 topic is try becoming the problem. Whatever type of problem you are facing, the most self motivational exercise I know of is to immediately say to yourself, I am the problem. Because once you see yourself as a problem, you can see yourself as a solution. This insight was dramatically described by James Belasco in The Flight of Buffalo. There is insights I realized early and written too often. He wrote, in most situations, I am the problem. There is an insight I realized early and written too often. In most situations, I am the problem. My mentalities, my pictures, my expectations from the biggest obstacles of my success. My mentalities, my pictures, my expectations form the biggest obstacles of my success. By seeing ourselves as a victim of our problems, we lose the power to solve them. We shut down creativity when we declare the source of the trouble to be outside of us. However, once we say, I am the problem, there is a great power that shifts from outside to the inside. Now we can become the solution. You can use this process the same way as a detective uses premise to clarify the crime scene. You can use this process the same way as detective use a premise to clarify the crime scene. If the detective says, what if there were two murders, not one? She can then think in a way that reveals new possibilities. She doesn't have to prove that there were two murders in order to think the problem through is if there were. She doesn't have to prove that there were two murders in order to think the problem through as if there were. The same is true when you become willing always to see yourself as a problem. It is simply a way to think. She doesn't have to prove that there were two murders in order to think the problem through as if there were. The same is true when you become willing always to see yourself as a problem. It is simply a way to think. Unfortunately, our society today is in the habit of thinking the opposite of the I am the problem. Time magazine even ran a cover story called A Nation of Finger Pointers that made a powerful and persuasive case for the fact that we have become the nation of victims who see the American dreams not as a striving fulfilled, but as an unachieved entitlement. In the Six Pillars of Self Esteem, Nathaniel Brandon writes, to feel competent to live and worthy of happiness, I need to exercise a sense of control over my existence. I need to experience a sense of control over my existence. This requires that I be willing to take responsibility for my actions and attainment of my goals. This requires that I be willing to take responsibility of my action and the attainment of my goals. This means that I take responsibility for my life and my well being. Before I had realized the full power of self motivated life, I spent a lot of years pointing fingers. If I didn't have enough money, I was somebody else's fault. If I didn't have enough money, it was somebody else's fault. Even my perceived personality flaws were somebody else's faults. I was never taught that. I was never taught that. I would shout in exasperation. No one showed me early in life how to be self sufficient, was the complaint I voiced often. But I was avoiding the basic truth. But I was avoiding the basic truth that I was the problem. The reason I fought so hard to avoid the truth was that I never realized that contained a good news. I never realized it that contained good news. I thought it looked entirely shameful and negative. I thought it looked entirely shameful and negative. But once I discovered that accepting responsibilities for the problem also gave me the new power of solving it, and I became free. But once I discovered that accepting responsibilities for the problem also gave me the new power of solving it, and I become free. Thank you.